All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Tuesday again. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess the calendar kind of works like that. And it's nicer outside, and people are starting to like actually escape their houses. I was talking to some friends in the UK this morning, and like they were allowed to start going to the pub as of last night, midnight UK time.
Hmm.
They're going hard, as I hear. But anyway, welcome to another episode of the MSP Initiative Live. We bring back some familiar faces for people that follow the show. We bring back both Beth and Marie from Rocketcyber. How are you doing today, ladies?
Well, doing well. Happy Tuesday.
Yes,
Right,
happy
it's a beautiful
Tuesday.
day. It's a beautiful
Yes.
Well, I mean, you're both based out of Dallas area, so I assume things are nice from a weather department.
Absolutely. It's like in the 70s today.
Yes.
No complaints, right?
No snow.
Yeah, well, you guys had a little problem with that not too long ago, right?
We don't talk about that one.
You almost don't think about it, but it really wasn't that long ago.
Wasn't. And it
The whole-
definitely took its hit on Texas for sure.
Yes.
yeah.
It
I
did.
keep on telling people, don't worry, wait till next year's power bill, and then we'll see how it goes.
We'll see what happens.
Exactly. But I'm glad we were able to take the Channel Strong tour through Texas
Yeah.
and Florida, and we delivered a lot of water and food and a little bit of camaraderie, networking, and some beers and sandwiches too. So that, along with the smiling faces on the screen, I say that's a pretty good deal.
It was fun. It was a good time for sure.
That's
Even
fantastic.
with the bus breaking down.
Well, hey, listen, transportation issues, like I always get stopped by TSA. You don't have to look very far to see how that goes. I mean, I only talk about it when I get stopped instead of I don't get stopped. And then I switched it around because I was getting stopped too much. So I only talked about it when I didn't get stopped. And I still get stopped all the time. So that didn't really change. But the bus breaking down, that just puts some, like, how shall we call it? It creates the story. We do things for the story, right?
It's all about the experience and the lasting memories. And I definitely will remember it this.
Exactly. It's about the journey, not just the destination.
Absolutely.
I'll keep on saying that, just to make sure people aren't so honored.
Oh, maybe we should put that on the shirt.
Yeah, there you go. Well, this is now the time, right? As we're going to be making more shirts for the next round, right? As we go into the Midwest at the end of May. So that's right around the corner.
Hopefully it's warmer there as well.
But if you remember last time, when we started off, like the first tour, it was Chicago, and then we went into Kansas City, and Kansas City was like New Orleans-esque in June.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You got out and you're like, oh, it's a little heat, little humidity, like 130% humidity, I felt like. So hopefully warm, but not too warm. How's that?
I like that. And not cold. I prefer not cold. So
No.
I'm with you 10,000% on the, and as you can tell, I favor the warmer climates based on the DNA. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, that was great. That was our third run. Texas and Florida seemed pretty hopping. People were, as much as people said, hey, they they shut it all down. You could just go anywhere, no mask, no. I was like, people were still kind of wearing masks. People did what was good for them, which was good, right? Because everybody has different situations, different health situations, and they're taking care of themselves, just like I would expect everyone to do normally.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see Texas out and about. It was the first time I saw that concept with what was it in just outside of Plano. It was like the food court on the bottom level, brewery on the second level, like other beers on the top level, and then like the outside was like a live venue / tables.
Legacy Hall.
Yeah, that was a great concept. I love that.
Is.
Yeah, we're very outdoors geared, so we do a lot of things that incorporate the outdoors, and live music is definitely a huge thing too. So
yeah, no, that was
more towards what Nashville is doing.
Yeah. No, I like this hybrid concept where it's like, hey, get what you want on the inside, hang out on the outside. I mean, perfect timing based on the current times, right?
Yeah, and your choices were just like, what can I choose? I mean, it was like whatever you craved, it was there. It's fabulous.
as people who talk about food a lot, yes, this is also that's all a plus. That's all a plus, including the dessert. Plenty of dessert too. I mean, I can't complain about that.
To get in Plano for your food? Because I didn't hear everything that you got.
Oh, dude, like we were there, we almost closed the place down. We kept on going back for more. I even Sade, who's like, quasi picky about what she likes to put on the plate. She was there until the end. We
Did you
almost
try
felt.
the s'mores?
What's that?
Did you try the big s'mores?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh
Just make
yeah, they
sure you
did it.
tried that one. I had to make sure.
Oh yeah, they did it. They absolutely did it. I got the ice cream, they got the s'mores, but it looked damn good.
Okay.
Actually, on my Instagram profile, it's almost entirely food, gotta be honest. I just think people are like, dude, how are you not in the hospital? I'm like, I'm not eating all this by myself, but yeah, it's good. It looks fantastic.
Take a bite of each.
What was that?
I said take a bite of each and you're good.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Anyway, all right. Getting back to the business at hand. So I'm going to, I mean, don't hurt me next time you see me, but let's just get it out of the way for the people that are still somehow mentally jammed up with, the realities of your situation, which is tell everyone and calm everybody down on Rocketcyber's current situation and their future, because I feel like, and listen, you'll have an open mic, address it however you wish, but I feel like a lot of people, went sideways on this thing.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, uh, tell everyone else, one, are you in a good place? And, take it, listen, these people work for the company, but they're very honest people. So we're going to hear what they're going to say point blank. I take it for what it's worth. And where's the company going? Are we safe to still do this? Right? Like, let's squash it. Let's get it all out on the table.
Perfect. It's okay if I take a stab at that, Marie?
Mhm.
Okay. So yes, we were acquired. We are acquired by Kaseya. That happened. Yes. We are still we are still Rocketcyber. So everybody that is on our team is still intact on our team as well. We still every day have our dev call just like we normally did. We just have power behind us in order to hire the people and the support that we need in order to get the job done better. We were having so many new partners and so many new development needed, so different tools to fit whatever the MSP needed in their stack, that we had to have more resources in order to do that. Not only that, but also our sales team to be able to accommodate the customers that we're bringing on, especially with the PAC-8 bringing on their team and having them distribute us. We needed some kind of growth and we needed it quickly in order to be able to support what we were doing. So at the end of the day, it was the best decision we could make with what we were presented with. And they have done a great job with keeping us intact. They have done a great job of adding to our team. We already have 20 more support people on our team. Our development is growing quite a bit. We have a new development platform that we're using and quite a few new development people already being hired into that so that we can develop a lot faster. We already have quite a few applications lined up to start development once we've finished all this integration and back-end stuff that we're going through right now. Yes, there is always a hurt period at the very beginning whenever you get acquired from a company. Just like an MSP, if you bought another MSP, you would have to merge all the different systems and all the different emails and the backends and everything. So that takes time. So we are actually very far into that and working on developing more tools to go out, like as far as even our marketing system, our CRM systems are being merged together. We're HubSpot, they are Salesforce, so it just takes a little bit of transition. So that being said, it has been a great acquisition. It has been a great plan moving forward. Yes, I have heard lots of not happy people. But if you just set up some time to talk to me about what's happening and what changes are happening, if you are a legacy customer, your pricing stays the same. So it's not like your price is going to increase. We also do sell through PAC-8 as well. So that pricing is staying the same. That's not going to change either. We also have a Kaseya plan as well. So there's multiple different options when you're coming to Rocketcyber to talk to us. There's always going to be changes. People are always going to be bought and not everybody's going to be happy with it, unfortunately. So we've tried to address that as much as we can. And there's people that just like to blast, which is fine. I get it. You're not happy. but we love you guys anyways. And we're trying to make the best of it and move forward with Rocketcyber with a bigger support staff and development team behind us as well.
Okay. I like that presentation. Brent, our favorite. Brent's going to be on next week. Finally, he's our favorite commentator. So we're going to have to bring him
Yay!
on. So Brent says, has the new company presented its list of accomplishments that they expect within whatever the time frame is? I assume he's saying, has Kaseya, now that they've made this acquisition, created a 90, 120 day, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year plan? Has that been stipulated anywhere?
Not that I'm aware of. Marie, do you have anything on that one?
For as far as the new plans that we have, I mean, we're introducing some new plans. I mean, and just to kind of just add to what Beth had said earlier in regards to that we're just a very forward-thinking company. So with that said, there are things that a company has to grow. So if anyone is as a business owner, they would understand that additional resources will help with that. And so that could also mean change. So these changes that we're looking into as far as different plans are just going to be able to just better the customer, because they're going to be things that we're just going to add and just improve. So
okay, so you're talking about the actual offering, right? Like what plan you can buy from, right? Bronze, gold, silver, whatever you want to call it. The Apple plan, the George plan. I mean, so right now, just by hearing a little bit of what you guys said in conjunction with each other, you can buy direct, right? Either through Rocketcyber directly or through a Kaseya route. And there is a new plan that's been packaged from that aspect.
Yep.
You can buy through PAX 8, which many people in the channel buy their Office 365 and all the other stuff that comes around that, right? There's a separate structure, price point, deliverable there. And then if you were already a Rocketcyber customer before the announcement, then whatever you have now, you still have.
Right. Absolutely.
Anything else out there, or was that pretty much the now situation?
Spot on. You're spot on. Now we are doing quite a bit of development. So before even the acquisition, we've worked on a vulnerability scan and compliance portion of the platform. And so there's still going to be tons of development on that side of what our security solution will offer. And so that will be released as well throughout this process.
Yep.
Okay. So like this thing is still rolling forward. We haven't stopped.
No, it's not gonna kill it.
I'm not. Now listen, I'm not the bad guy. I am literally just a message deliverer. But you can understand where people who were big in the IT glue, right? For example, and IT glue, everybody, a lot of people are on it. Thousands of people are on it. The acquisition was announced, and then a lot of people felt, may not be the case, but felt, well, the development has really stopped. Right? Like they stopped doing new things. That may not be true. Maybe they are doing things, but from a messaging standpoint, that seemed to be the gist on the street. So there's a fear, right? Every time, somebody gets pulled into this umbrella, right? Because they don't know, is that same thing going to happen? Is it the same story over and over again? And quite frankly, they like the people that they're dealing with. I think you two are a prime example of that. And when those faces start changing and the people start changing and the names start changing, they get a little bit of, uncertain about what's happening, right? So that's a large, that's a big part of the messaging of why people went sideways, in my opinion. And it sounds like from what you're saying, full steam ahead, the crew's still together.
Yep.
You're still driving the boat, and these guys just came in and provided the fuel to keep it going faster. Kind of thing.
Absolutely. And if you know anything about Billy and Carl, they are very forward thinkers.
Yes.
So they're not going to stop development, and they're staying with us, with the company, with Kaseya. So they're going to push forward. Just if you know anything, I've had any conversation, I don't think Billy could stop trying to get to the next level, because that's
I agree.
but you know what? For the people out there that have never met the people who started Rocketcyber, give them a little bit of background on these two people, right? So they understand what you're saying.
So Billy and Carl, they have created a lot of different security products, and they worked with McAfee, they worked with the DoD. They have been in security for a very, very, very long time. They worked with threat lists for the FBI. I mean, they've done quite a bit. And their vision when they started this company, they actually created iScan that SolarWinds now has. But when they created Rocketcyber, they wanted to have a security tool that would help MSPs, not even the enterprise level or anything like that. They wanted to support the MSP side because of the price point and because of the different tool sets. They could have gone and developed a tool for McAfee or one of the enterprise other tools that they could put into the stack to make it more enterprise focused. But they went for the SentinelOne and the Cylance and the Windows Defender and WebRoot, all of the smaller antiviruses that the MSPs would actually be able to afford and put on their stack. They incorporated those along with all the different PSAs, because we don't just have Kaseya.
While you're talking, I am going to share my screen. I mean, I just looked at it today just to get an update on how many things are there.
It's a lot.
Under this app store. I mean, it's pretty beefy, right? I mean,
It
3,
is. And we're
6,
not even close
9,
to being done. I mean,
12,
like we have
14, 16, 18,
A
20.
lot more.
Yeah,
There's
I
going to
mean,
be a lot more to offer, and especially myself being the newest member on the team, when I got on board, I mean, exactly what Beth's saying, is just very forward-thinking company, very go, very just goal-driven, and so they have a mission and on their roadmap what they want to accomplish, and that's exciting for me on my end, because I want to grow with a company that is just continuously wanting to just keep getting better and develop, moving forward. So
I mean, it's
that's
clear from this list. I mean, to back up, I guess, the kind of proof to the pudding, if you would, right, on the, hey, they're here trying to build it for the MSP. I mean, a
Right.
lot of these tools are straight up targeted MSP tools, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
And to give you an example, like when I started with Rocketcyber in 2019, this was the first year that we sold Rocketcyber, was in 2019. It started as a software only program. So we would give the software to MSPs and they would review the detections. That we didn't have all these different other integrations with antivirus or with the DNS or the dark web or email security or even Office 365 or the firewalls. We didn't have any of that. We just had a software that you put on that end device, very similar to what Hunter offers. And then it would do the scanning for you and report back to that MSP. Well, the problem with that was
right, and then
MSPs
create
have no idea.
the 200,000 alerts. Yeah, I hear
Yeah.
you loud and
It's
clear.
like, these have a ton of alerts. So we took that and we're like, okay, we need to make sure that we are providing the best security. And so then we hired a SOC team. And so our SOC team then took those alerts and we created our full managed SOC from there, and then added different pieces. So we added all the different security layers in there to give us a bigger pane of glass, like a bigger picture into all your security instead of just one view on the device. So then you pull everything in, you're getting it triaged by a 24/7 SOC, which everybody needs those, because that's when you're going to get attacked, is when you're sleeping. And then just we're able to give you incidents and give you remediation plans for those incidents. So quite a bit. Hey, I like all the features you got over here.
I mean, listen, I'm going back to my, I remember the first day I plugged the RMM into the PSA and all this magic was supposed to happen. And 15,000 alerts after 24 hours, I just started poking my eyes out. I couldn't keep up. I couldn't.
Yeah.
And frankly, with all of the things that you're monitoring, all these third parties that you're now aggregating into one place, it's going to be exponentially higher than just the stuff the RMM, starts creating noise on. So, to be honest with you, I'm not sure the MSPs out there that would take a software only approach and just start creating alerts, unless you're hiring full-time people to figure out what they are.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can do it.
Well,
this isn't a sales pitch. I'm just talking out loud.
Yeah.
How can you do it? How can you keep up with those alerts? I don't like, you would need 3 people to take care of a small group of customers generating that much noise.
Yeah.
And those 3 people, do they understand what the alerts mean, and can they even do something about it?
And what if it's a new detection that nobody knows? It's a brand new issue that nobody's been hacked with yet. So how do you know? So there's always new things that are coming out that we're constantly updating our threat intel feeds, and we're updating our apps. We're actually adding new apps as we find new threats, like the half
Yes.
point. We added a new app as soon as we figured that one. So it's a constant evolvement, and to hire a security person is going to cost you way more than it's going to cost for you to hire on Rocketcyber.
So how does the workflow work, right? I deploy your software at the device level, at the agent level. I then go and sign into my Office 365, my firewall, my antivirus, whatever vendors you guys already tie into, just sign in, let it start pulling in.
Yep.
And then like, what's the day-to-day expectation? Your guys are getting the alerts at the SOC level. I assume the PSA is still getting the alerts as well. How do I know when you started working on something, when you flag something, when you've determined that it's a false positive? Like, what's that interaction actually look like?
So on the dashboard, this is actually one topic that I talk about a lot with all of the people that we demo with, or they're doing a trial, or they are on board with us. There is going to be lots of detections in your platform, but they will not be for you. They will be for our SOC team. So we always keep a log retention in our platform. So we always have a 30 days because we're trying to meet those compliance and looking for the persistence in your different detections coming in. We also do store your logs for at least a year, and we have expanded from there as well. So that way you're meeting your compliance requirements as well. So our SOC team reviews all the tech detections within the application. Currently, they just triage, and then when they find an incident or something that actually needs remediation, they will create an incident that will be fed into your PSA and create a ticket into your PSA.
Oh, wait. So I'm not getting the 10,000 alerts in the PSA now.
Nope, you're just getting
only when you flag something is when it shows up in the PSA.
Yeah. So when our SOC team has designated that it actually needs something done to it, we go in and provide a ticket for you that actually lists out exactly what needs to be done. Now, we do also have an automatic remediation feature as well, where we can go in and take care of it for you, and we will resolve that ticket as well.
Okay, so like the RMM, right? Hey, this defrag needs to be done. Oh, I'm going to do the disk. Oh, now I'm going to apply time. Oh, now I'm going to close the ticket. And then when you do your reports, it shows up in the, hey, I did all this stuff for you.
Yep.
Their customer.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no, I mean, listen, I'm wanting to make sure that I even understand it, because number one, just not seeing all of the raw alerts. I guess if you really wanted to, you could go into your tool and figure it out, but
you can't.
I don't want that noise. I don't have time for that noise. I don't want my PSA clogged up with the junk, right? I just don't have time. I tell people all the time, and I know the PSAs have some of this, but they're not really good CRM systems. I tell people, I was like, I have a HubSpot, right? You used to use HubSpot. I use HubSpot. I do all my sales, marketing, prospecting, all form collection, all that in HubSpot. And only when they're ready to become a customer, or I'm ready to do some sort of services for them, do I start entering them into the PSA, because I want to keep the PSA pretty clean. But in this case, you've already kind of figured out how to keep the noise out and only put the stuff in that I care about, right?
Absolutely. And honestly, there's a lot of customers that they turn off their SentinelOne alerts from SentinelOne because they're getting an actual incident from us with the remediation plan, as well as if they have one of our email securities that we connect with. Now the firewall, I don't know about you, but there's tons of firewall logs that come in. I would hate to review those every day. There's hundreds of thousands. So pull in those security alerts, and our team actually reviews those for you. And we actually give recommendations on how to lock down your firewall a little bit better and make sure that it is well managed, and that we are keeping it as secure as possible. Now, some of our upcoming things that we are going to be releasing will be an API connector with your firewalls. So then we can actually provide remediation on that firewall as well.
I see. Well, so before it was like, hey, this change needs to be made, go make it. Yeah. Now it's, hey, if we have access, correctly, we can just apply the change for you. Okay, that's Absolutely. Good to know. Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, the newer firewall platforms have kind of started doing this log aggregation, but a lot of the guys out there, right? The Fortinets and the Sonic Walls and the Sophoses and the WatchGuards and I could go on and on and on. You still needed to do something extra to actually get those logs to show up somewhere, because they don't get stored on the device more than maybe a couple of hours, and then there's not enough memory to even hold those logs. And then of course, everybody's tried to come out with some sort of cloud platform at a cost, and of course, nobody wants to pay. And then you're back to, is the firewall even doing what it's supposed to be doing for you? So yeah, no, that's a plus. It's a bonus but I think part of the challenge though is that now with everybody being home and distributed and everywhere and working out of the back of, their man cave, backyard, whatever it is, basement, those firewalls aren't really even in place for the majority of those users out there. And they're not sending a UTM home. I can tell you that.
No, that's what's great about our cloud-based agent is because it can go with the laptop wherever it goes, and it will be your protection on that side. But that's not even the best part about our SOC. Our best part about our SOC is the experience that you're going to get. So the guys that are behind this SOC, they have the experience in security. So they know when something is bad. They know how to fix it. So even if we have had a few customers that have ransomware and malware, like right when they deploy, like immediately when they start with us, we find it. And our guys are on the phones with them, getting it resolved, helping them get that computer updated to solve it.
I hope you got there before. If the ransomware thing was in the middle of happening, I hope you caught it before the damage was too far. Because
yeah.
After a certain point, you're stuck.
Yeah. So our guys, that's what they're there for. They're there to help with those instances, regardless if we even have customers that they haven't deployed the agent to that end device yet, and they get the ransomware. So they deploy it immediately so that we can help with cleanup and help to get it resolved. So
I mean, this agent, I assume it can be deployed via the RMM or remotely, right? I don't have to go and click on every single machine manually.
Oh, no. It's deployed through your RMM. We have scripts for each RMM to push it out. We also have a PowerShell. So, there's quite a few different options. We also support Mac. So it's not only the desktop, the Windows desktop. You can also do Mac. Now we're working on a blend of
is it heavy, right? Yeah, like how beefy is that?
It's super light. So most of the time you won't even notice it's on that machine. And the only time that it has had any issues is if there's something else interfering with it. And once we figure that out, we whitelist it and there's not an issue. Okay.
So talk to me about what the story is with the Microsoft 365, Office 365, Azure 365, whatever you want to call, the Microsoft cloud approach. What's the expectation there?
So we do integrate with Office 365. We pull that in. It is actually not charged with our platform. As long as you hit our minimum, you can have as many Office 365 users monitored on our platform as you'd like. It's one of our integrations. And so it pulls in the information. As long as you have an Azure AD Premium P1 license on that admin account for that customer, it will pull in all the users for that customer.
So that's just the one account you're talking about.
Just the one, yeah.
Okay.
And group taxi.
So it's like a $6 SKU or something.
Yeah, it's really cheap. So $6 per customer. It will allow you to get all of the information as far as the apps that we have for Office 365. So that would be your login analyzer. It will log in, show you where your logins are happening. If it's a failure or success, we even can see in the details if it's a PowerShell script that's running. We can see if it's through Teams that's logging in. There's quite a few details that we can see on that login. It'll also show us persistence. So if we see someone persistently trying to attempt to get into that Office 365 email inbox, we can also go in and create a remediation plan to block or to isolate that so it doesn't happen. Then also with Office 365, we have your risk. So it takes machine learning against that user's behavior and finds out if there's anything abnormal. Are they logging in from abnormal places? Are they giving access to something they normally wouldn't give access to? So it will take that risk detection in your Office 365 as well.
What about that trick where they import these forwarding rules behind the scenes that show up nowhere unless you go to look for them? You figure that one out?
So we also have an app that has a mail forwarding detection rule. So anytime there's a mail forwarding rule put in place, we will create an incident based on that. That is also in your logs. So we do store the logs for Office 365 as well. So compliance. So that's just one more thing that we do on the Office 365. And then we also do the secure score. So we give you a full list of what you need to do in order to increase that customer secure score and what their current control score is for those controls.
Interesting. Yeah. That forwarding thing, it's such a simple thing, but that's when all that spoofing happens. And all of a sudden you start wiring money to somebody you think is who you think it is. And it turns out it's not who you thought it was. Right. And then by the time you figure it out, you hope you paid that premium on your insurance policy. Right?
You're like, oh, is it taking? Well, that's also another feature with the email security that we're adding to the platform. We already have Barracuda and Iron Scales, But when we're doing the Office 365 ATP and Proofpoint, when we add those in, it actually gives us just another layer on that our SOC team can go in there and identify, hey, is this a false positive or is it real? Do we need to run an AV scan based on what we've seen in the results? These are the different phishing attempts that we've seen on this specific user. So let's make sure that they're not getting passed on these. So.
Yeah. Well, listen, you can do all these separately on your own, but again, it comes back to time. And there's just.
And do you want to manage all those individual tools by yourself, or do you want a 24/7 SOC to do it for you?
Yeah, no. If your people have any, unless they just don't feel like sleeping and they want to work all the time.
Or you want to hire a bunch of people.
Or yeah.
If you have unlimited resources, man, hire yourself a security team, go for it.
Yeah, no. Although, it's a hirer's market right now, but no, I'd rather do that differently. Okay. So what's the minimum? You said minimum. Yes. I heard minimum. I know people hate that word minimum, but I want to know what's the minimum.
So it depends on who you're going with.
Exactly.
Okay. So with Kaseya, it's 100 device minimum. Mm-hmm. With Pax8, it's a 50 device minimum. Mm-hmm. So with Pax8, it's $4 per device. With Kaseya, it's $4 per device. Ta-da!
Doesn't sound very expensive, to be honest.
It's honestly not. If you go out and try to find another SOC that does the same things, it's going to be not even close. There is a term difference between Pax8 and between Kaseya. So with the term with Kaseya, it is a 3-year term for that $4 price, or we have a 1-year term for the $7 price. And then for the Pax8, it's a month-to-month.
I mean, once again, there's an option.
Yes, you have
pick your road.
Yeah,
correct.
Definitely.
Well, while we're talking about options, here's another one from our favorite question sender, Brent. So you mentioned you are adding new features. How do you decide what to add, and how are you concerned with feature overlap across vendor tools?
I love that question. So we actually have a feature request platform that we collect all of the features that people are asking for, and you can vote on it and decide whoever gets the most votes, that's what we're going to develop next. Now, what we have in there to develop right now is based on what our customers currently use. So our current customers, what their stack includes. Whenever we first meet with a new prospect or a new MSP, we always go through what their security stack is. So that way we know, and we record all that information so we know what to develop next. So with the feature request and that, we kind of go from there and start developing what our next tool is going to be.
So here's a question to follow up Brent's. How many new features did you deploy in 2020?
Oh man, that's I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't even know. There were so many. I mean, if
was it 100? Was it 500? Was it 5? What just give me a gut feeling.
Well, you can't really you can't go from there, because not only did we do apps, but we also added new firewalls, we added new antiviruses. So there's a lot.
I was actually, by the way, she wasn't kidding. I found the feature request. It's right here. It's very easy. Mm-hmm. And then I was going through and I was like, oh, look at all of these integrations in a list format, and it just keeps on going and going and going and going. So it's pretty cool that it's actually all listed. I didn't have to go digging very far to find this. And apparently, if you're a developer, which I know many people are not, like they actually have a full API listed too. Mm-hmm. So sounds like it's a two-way street, right? They're going to go out and keep on building the ones that people are asking for, and vice versa. Interested parties could come and say, hey, I did it for you. Here you go. Put it in. So
yeah, we have customers that are constantly adding input, and we're every day on our dev call, we talk about the requests so that we can review them and we can say, hey, is that something we need to make sure we're looking at and adding to our top of our feature request? Or is it something that we need to make sure that, hey, let's give them an expectation that it's going to be Q4, or let's give them an expectation it's going to be next year. So that way we kind of have an idea when someone's asking for something that we can say, hey, we had a call with our development team and this is going to be on the plan to be completed by this time.
Is there an actual, I mean, listen, if the answer is no, it's okay, but is there an actual published roadmap?
No, not currently. So that I get asked that every single day.
Yeah.
The best thing we can do for you at the current moment is that list, because you can see things that are actually in development already on that list. So there's things that are out and already active, and then there's things in development. And we're constantly adding to the in development list as we push out new applications.
So just for anyone who's real, I mean, just be clear. I went to resources, develop integrations, and she's talking about this list. Like, for example, trend is in development.
Correct.
And then ID agent is in development. And
Yeah,
Cisco Umbrella and DNS filter in development, right? It's all listed here.
Well,
That's all.
DNS is actually out now, so it needs to be updated to.
Yeah.
But yes, the Cisco Umbrellas, we've actually had that one in development just for a little bit, just because I'm trying to get both sides. Some tools take a little bit longer just because of the other. It's not just our team that has to develop it; it has to be the other side as well.
No, I totally understand. Okay, so we talked about pricing, we talked about minimums, we talked about roadmap, we talked about features, we talked about how do you determine what's next. What are the other questions that usually pop up in your conversations?
This is too easy. What's the catch?
Those are
It's
good
like,
questions.
yeah, price too low, or it's very intuitive.
It's too easy for me to use. I mean, honestly, if I can do it, you can do it. It's I'm a salesperson.
I say this all the time. If you can log into a 365 portal and make changes, you can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
I love that people are like, this is too complicated. I'm like, and the 365 portal is not complicated. I was like, I don't think it's even anywhere close to what that is. And that's not just about my stuff. It's about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But
So
what's great about us, we actually have a step-by-step instruction that has pictures for each integration that we offer. So even if you don't know how to do it, I can walk you through it because I have a step-by-step picture of how it's done.
no, that's good. Listen, simple and easy, right? Plus I'm a visual guy anyway. Pictures are nice. Another question by a friend, Brent. Good question here. Initially, the product is reading the logs from he says network assets, but it could be the endpoint, it could be the firewall, it could be a bunch of stuff. He's like, then remediation is accomplished when you have a connectivity to a particular product. Question mark. So, I guess he brought this up when we said, well, with your firewall, if we, you had to go and make, we tell you what changes to make, but if we have the access, we can go and do that, right? So I assume he's saying to the particular product, right? You have to have the ability to, do the handshake and be able to make the change on the partner's behalf. So then he says, so that's a question. Is remediation then accomplished when you have access or connectivity to a particular product? That's the first question. Second question is, how long does the connection take? Is it just a simple API thing that just happens behind the scenes? Or is there a delay in you being able to process whatever changes you need to make?
No, it's an API connector, so it's quick. With the Sentinel-1, we can immediately take action on detections that are coming in from those in different AVs as well. There is, with the firewall, that immediately comes over, but it's after we have identified that there is actually a threat. So our SLA states that 60 seconds to where we have a remediation, not 60 seconds, 60 minutes until we have a remediation.
I was going to say 60 seconds.
That's quick, sorry.
Didn't even open my Coke and you already had the answer.
It's rocket fast.
Rocket fueled, rocket fast. No, a 60 minutes on our SLA for a response on an incident that comes in. And so that's our team looking at it, doing the research, making sure that we have the best remediation plan for going forward, and then giving that to you if we can't actually do it ourselves. There is like I said, a button for you to turn on and off. So if you don't have the button on, then that's you taking care of it on your side. If you do have the button on, then it is us taking care of it on our side. Now, that is the case on things that we have access to. So Office 365, we don't have access to do remediation on there, neither with the firewalls currently. And so those things, that's when we would send you a ticket. If it is a high risk, we're giving you a phone call. Anything that's high risk, we're going to call you.
Yeah. I was just reading a thread about people saying, oh, well, I don't like phone calls. I'd rather text or chat, email. Phone calls should be last on the list. And I'm like, why did vendor? And it was about vendor support, actually. It was like, vendor support, they're hiding the ability for you to have a phone call now. And then people are like, who wants to be on the phone? And I'm like, that just tells me that every vendor that will take the phone call, it's just gone up on the list.
Yep. So
Mhm.
we will definitely call you for those.
Call you.
Those are not something that we ever want to do just a ticket for, just because they are high risk. So
Yeah, the phone is still king, people. Actually, I'd argue that with all of this happening, remember back in the day before, when it wasn't popular to be on a video call, was that commercial with the Amazon support where it was like fire support, where like the person popped up on your tablet and it was like a little picture with the person in the corner and you would actually have like, that's the evolution, not, hey, let's just eliminate the live conversation altogether and just chat. Yeah, no, I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong, people, on that.
I agree.
And that's not self-servicing either. I'm just being
no,
honest.
you are a voice provider. So, but I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, people are losing the capability to talk to each other. So it is good to have phone calls.
Yes.
Humans should talk to humans more often, for sure.
Yes.
That's why the tour is so successful, is because we're in person and we're actually talking to each other. And you have to learn how to have the conversations again instead of just saying, okay, I'm done. Let me get off the Zoom, or let me go hide my face on Zoom for a
I
second.
know. Gosh, I know.
The more people that are out there that are connectable, the better off they're going to be. You don't have to believe me, try it and then come back and talk to me. So what reporting, like, this is all great, right? And MSPs can really understand a lot of this because we live, breathe, sleep, swim through this every day. But then customer check signer decision maker people, we're trying to make it English, right, to them. What can we present to them to say, one, hey, this is actually doing something for you, and two, here's like an overview of your system on the security front. Like, what deliverables do you give the MSP for their customer?
So we actually have a cyber monitoring report available now, and that kind of gets you in the weeds on that one. So we are almost about to launch our executive summary, which will be very much end customer facing. It will be to where you can schedule it, where it comes weekly, it comes monthly, or it comes quarterly. It's up to you. It will be sent to the MSP themselves so they can then send it on to the end customer. And it will also have their logo on it based on what they put into the platform, because the platform's brandable. This will go through how many incidents you had, how many were resolved. If the Office 365 is a healthy Office 365, it will go through if the devices are healthy, so if they're in good health or not, and then their top sections and what they were based on. And so it goes through like a charted view of their security health. It's just an easy one pager.
Okay. I mean, one page may be enough to get the job done, to be honest with you. I remember the first time I pumped out an executive report out of the PSA, and I was like, dude, this is 50 pages. They're not going to read this.
Yeah, and most people, yes, they do want their security, and we do have that cyber monitoring report that does pull, like I said, the weeds. So you'll have every detection in every app, whether it was suspicious or informational, or
don't send that to your customer.
No,
you don't want it.
I mean, listen, if you're in like a co-managed and you're sending it to the inside IT team, I guess that's okay. But like, do not send that. Do not send that to the CEO.
No.
No.
So most people want that executive summary anyway. So that's what we're really focused on.
Okay.
And we also have marketing resources too. So that's one of the great things that Kaseya has brought to us is the marketing resources. We have a powered by playbook. And so you have templates for email, you have templates for social media, you have templates for a PowerPoint presentation that addresses SOC. There is so many. There's at least 20 deliverables, and we're working on battle cards currently as well to add to that. So there's quite a bit of marketing resources you can get through us now from that powered service.
Would you or have you jumped on a call with the MSP to pitch to the end customer?
Absolutely. I actually do it at least once a week, if not more than that, just because they'll let me know in advance what they're using in their stack. So then I can talk to you just like it's a customer level and say, hey, this is what we're going to be providing for you. We'll be supporting the MSP here, and then he will be resolving these incidents alongside with us. But you have that 24/7 SOC team behind you. We're all based out of Dallas, Texas. So it's not going out of the US ever. And that is a huge sell for them.
So since you're on these calls once a week, what do the end customers usually ask?
They ask about the support. They ask about what we're looking at. They're asking about that log retention. Log retention is huge for a lot of these guys because of the compliance that they're looking for insurance and different expectations they have to meet. They're looking at that. They're looking at the advanced breach detection on the endpoint, what we're covering, what we're looking for, and then also seeing the integrations if it fits in with what they currently have.
Okay, well, that's good. I mean, so let me ask you this question. Because so depending on whether you're going direct, 100 seats or your seats are actually devices, not users, right? Like computers.
Correct.
It could be a firewall, a server, or a desktop or laptop.
Okay. Well, I wanted to clarify that, right? Because most MSPs are actually billing per user, right? And so the devices, right? I mean, depending on your scenario, it could be more users and devices, could be more devices than users. Okay. So on one side, it's 100 device minimum. On the other side, it's a 50. One's month to month, one's 3 year. The simple sales question, I guess. If I'm on the 3 year and I make a change, does my 3 year then reset, or does it, if I'm midway, am I still in the initial 3 year? How does that work?
That's a great question. I believe even if you make a change, like, are you talking about adding devices?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that doesn't change. This is a 3 year no matter.
Or what about, let's say I had 500, let's say a customer disappeared on me and now I'm at 400 and I want to now make a change. How does that work?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't change the term on there. It will still continue. It just changes the amount you're paying each month, and that's it.
Okay. Yep. All right.
And then I pay through monthly payments. It's not, you have to pay all 3 years up front. It's still a monthly payment.
Good clarification. And then on the, if I go distribution side, I assume that there's like a 30 days or like there's got to be a trigger notice, right? If I'm going up or down, right?
So anything that was active in the month before, the month prior, will be billed for on that date, on your bill date. It's the same thing for the next month. So then you're using all of these and you decide to put on 10 more agents, you're going to be billed for the 10, even if you decide that you're going to take them off. If they were active in that month, then you're going to get billed for those at the next bill cycle.
Okay, so there's a little bit of a delay, but it's based on how many, like, how do you determine that the agent's active, right? Like, is there a check-in, or do I actually have to go and remove it from your platform?
So it was, so anything that has our agent deployed to it and it turns on. So it's online, that agent is in use. If the agent has been offline for over a month, it won't be billed. Even if it's still on your platform, it shows offline for over a month, it won't be billed for it. So we have people that just leave their old devices on there, even though they do a refresh. And so we have people that have 8 months, 9 months, and like, we'll do a health check with them once a month. And I'll be like, hey, can we delete this? It's been sitting here for 8 months. Can we clean it up a little bit just so it doesn't look like there's more offline devices than there actually is? And so that helps. But some people are just like, I just want to leave it on there, and they don't want to take it off. So, I mean, but they're not getting billed, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, that's the right answer, because I can tell you for a fact that there are people out there who are like, well, until you specifically go and actually press the delete button, you're going to pay. I don't care if that device has never been turned on. Nope. No, thank you. No, thank you.
That doesn't sound like a good system to me. So.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, there's a lot of non-good systems out there, but you're not one, which is good. So, and then the other question is, what happens if the MSP logs into the dashboard and they're not sure about what's being said? Can they actually call into the SOC and ask what it is?
We have a 24/7 SOC, so you can call in anytime and they will support you in whatever you need. So around the clock, you just dial our main number, and I believe it's either extension 2 or 3. There's a support and there's a SOC. It's 3.
SOC. Yeah, 2 for support, 3 for the SOC
What's the
team.
difference between support and SOC? Just out of curiosity.
Support is not 24/7.
Okay.
SOC is 24/7.
Okay, so what would I call support on versus the SOC specifically?
So if
billing or
so billing, or if there's an issue with your deployment, or if there's an issue with an agent, or your PSA isn't connected properly, or you just didn't read the directions. Hey, I see that on a daily basis. People are like, I'm not getting tickets. And I go in and I look at their platform and I see they didn't map any of their customers. I'm like, well, you're not getting tickets because you didn't map any of your customers, which instructions say. which is fine. I get it. Some people are really busy and they don't think about it, but that's what the support line is for. Or you can call Marie or myself and we can help walk you through or try to resolve it with you as well.
Yeah. And this is why, like, during our trial process, we want to do 2 to 3 touch points. And so during that trial, that's where we're going through, make sure the integrations, configurations are well. We can set up a team with our SOCs so they can hear what's behind the scenes, maybe get a little bit more information on what certain things mean on, on the results. So we do encourage that for anyone that wants to try out Rocketcyber.
How long's the trial period?
21 days.
Okay, it's interesting. 21 days. And they would sign up through one of you, or can they go right to the website and sign up?
So either one, so they can come direct to us, they can go through Paxay, it's on Paxay's line card, or we can get it through Kaseya as well. So any option that you like. Yeah, there's so many different options.
Pick one.
Yeah, you like Netflix, you like Prime Video, you like on demand. I get you still want to go to the red box on the corner and actually get the DVD out. Although I got to do a road trip to Bend, Oregon to see this last Blockbuster.
Oh, Blockbuster, yes.
There's still one?
Yes, yeah. There's like one left.
I didn't think there was one.
There is one left.
One left.
There was a question in there, and he asked why that time period for 21 days. I have no idea.
I haven't learned how to install a product within 21 days. Brent, some people have 14 days, some people have 30 days. I actually don't know of any vendors recently that I've run into that do more than 30 days.
Yeah.
I remember one that used to do 45 and they've since gone 30. But yeah, listen, it's all about communication, right? If you're actively trialing something, as long as there's a back and a forth, I think you can probably ask for more time. As somebody who's sat on both sides of the aisle, one, I've been too busy as a tester of software to actually do the work within this period of time. I just say, hey, listen, I'm not ready. And when I'm ready to put just put the hat on and get into it, then I'll let you know so that I don't waste your clock.
Yep.
And on the other side, it's so frustrating when somebody's 25, 29, 28 days in, and they're like, oh, I didn't even touch it.
Yep.
Like, why did you,
yes.
why did you do this?
And we always encourage that. I mean, that's I've heard from Beth, and I've even said the thing is when you're ready, then get started. But otherwise, if you don't have the time, that's okay. 2 months down the road, we can pick up this conversation again.
So I guess Brent, they'll take that one offline, buddy. You're that's probably better to do a one-on-one. Don't know what the situation is there. So let me ask you this question, and this comes up all the time, and I'm just gonna put it out there because again, I'm just a message deliverer. What happened? Everybody hopes everybody plays nice in the sandbox. This whole Switzerland approach obviously has not stayed true because money has come in and people have done what they've done. So what happens? What happens if vendor A and vendor B, right? The integration doesn't stay. You know what I mean? In the past, it's oh yeah, this system with this system should work forever. Not specifically you, right? It could be an RMM and a PSA from different vendors. It could be a backup solution and a PSA from different vendors. It could be whatever, a bunch of different permutations of that. Do you have any concerns that the relationships from the integration standpoint that are already designed, built, and out there would not stay for the long term?
Honestly, no, just because the product isn't just sold through Kaseya.
Right.
It's in best interest for it to still be able to adapt to multiple different tool sets. So currently, no, that's not an issue that I foresee or we foresee.
Okay. Well, it's still worth asking.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question.
I can't tell you how many times that came up in the past with other solutions, so it's worth asking. So how did so it sounds like you two are out front here. You're like the original guard here at the OGs, right, at Rocketcyber. Where did they find you? How did they get a hold of you? Should they look you up on Facebook or LinkedIn or TikTok or Twitter or what apps? How am I getting to you here?
We have multiple ways. Her and I are both on LinkedIn. We're both on Facebook. I don't know if she's on Instagram. I'm on Instagram.
Yes, I'm on Instagram.
Yeah, she is on Instagram. She follows me. You can look at George's post and see myself tagged in it. So even if you're following George, you can find me through it. Or you can email us. It's very simple. Mine's Beth@rocketcyber.com and Marie.
Marie@rocketcyber.com.
It's so hard.
Yes, hands.
It's very easy to get a hold of us. Or you can dial our main number and press #1 to get to the sales group. And either her or I will be answering
the phone.
Wow, that is good. And if you happen to be in the Midwest in May, you might see one or both of these wonderful ladies on the Channel Strong tour.
Absolutely. I'm ready for Chicago, man.
Yep, I think
I love Chicago. I love Chicago.
Nashville, St. Louis. I'm going to do this by memory. Nashville, St. Louis, Chicago, Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yep.
Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Cincinnati, Indianapolis. I'm missing one. Nashville.
Yeah. Well, you said Nashville.
I said Nashville. I'm missing a spot somewhere in that circle.
Nashville too.
Yeah, Nashville's fun now that it's open. But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, not everybody like Texas on that.
Well, Texas and Florida were fantastic. I mean, to be honest, I mean, as a guy from Philadelphia, it's kind of I'm not allowed to go to Dallas a lot, but that's okay. I can just not post that trip. Anyway, no, I'm excited for May's tour. Hopefully, I think you guys usually split time. So like, Beth, you're on there for a little bit and then Marie comes in. I don't know how that breakdown's gonna happen in May, but that means you're gonna be there so you can talk to these people in person. How about that? In person. Think about that.
Face to face.
Exactly. If you want to learn more about Rocketcyber, head to rocketcyber.com. If you want to learn more about Channel Strong for May, you can go to mspinitiative.com/channel-strong, or just click on the button for Channel Strong. And under sessions or webinars, you will have a recorded session of this. You can go back and listen to those questions and maybe give them the live video to the boss so that they can actually hear it from the people directly rather than through you. It might help you out. And obviously know how to reach these two wonderful people. And you'll also be able to continue to follow us here Tuesdays and Thursdays, 1 o'clock Eastern time, where we will soon have our very favorite guest, Brent, as a co-anchor, I think next Tuesday. I believe that's right. Circle that calendar. Because I'm sure that'll be very interesting.
Then I can ask all questions to him.
Yeah. yes. No. And Brent, I got your last message here. Yeah, no, it's all good. Like, I just figured it because of the conversation. That's just sometimes it's better to have, number one, we didn't have enough time and all that jazz. But number two, it's better to get the questions and answers on that specific use case. But yeah, no, I totally understand what you're saying with, hey, if you don't have time or you can't get enough time for the demo period, should we even go through the process? My best advice to you, Brent, and again, coming from me, again, sitting on both sides of the train tracks, bring that up front. If you need more time, if you think you really need 60 days, ask for it in the beginning. But I promise you, if you stay on top, like you actually communicate with whoever you're working with consistently, you'll have a better chance of getting that than them just saying, nope, this is our period. If you don't like it, don't do it. There's wiggle room, but within, there's got to be a give and take, right? Yeah. So that's my own, like, I don't mind. I always say, hey, I don't mind helping people out, but I need you to give me something back in return. What's fair, right? So that's usually how I approach things, but I digress. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Please check us out at mspinitiative.com, rocketcyber.com. Follow us on all the social channels and visit us back here again on Thursday at 1 o'clock. Thanks, ladies, for joining today. And I'm excited. Hopefully we'll see you in May.
Thanks, George.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.